It actually feels really weird to be back filming in this setup. It's been a surprisingly long time for me. If you would like to know more about that, go check out my weekly reads video for the second week of February. I think it should have just come out on Thursday. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I've been filming just like casual videos on my phone around my house for like a month and a half or 2 months now because just things have been going on. You can check out my weekly reads and weekly vlogs, as I said, to get more behind the scenes stuff on that. But for this, the accomplished woman tag, I felt like I should try and be a bit more accomplished. This tag was created by Charlotte of Coiny Reads and is in celebration of sort of Pride and Prejudice and Jane Austen and all that sort of stuff. It's based on a quote from Pride and Prejudice, which I actually haven't read yet, but I'm sure it's amazing. And I was tagged by Brittany of Literarily Smitten. If you don't already know, go run to their channels right away because they are currently still hosting her story until the end of March. It is a readathon all about women's history and it's fantastic. I'm having so much fun with it. Make sure you check out their videos because they have so much fun stuff going on now and always. I'm going to tag some fantastic women who I think are highly accomplished and all do various things that I'm just like in awe of what they managed to achieve. So first I'm going to tag Anjanette Barr of The Book Bar. She does such cool stuff with like her garden and what she grows and like makes tea from stuff she grows, I think. And she always has cool tea in general. It's very, very cool channel and very cool stuff that she talks about. Next, I'm going to tag Very Literary Carrie, who I look up to so much for how dedicated she is to running. That is something that I really want to get back into myself, and she is just so inspiring with how much positive energy she seems to put into that side of her life. And finally, I'm going to tag two ladies who inspire me so much cosmetically, Kevvie and Katie Reads and Rants. I love both of them for their book thoughts because they have some amazing reviews, but also every single video I watch from both of them, I just want to try doing makeup and like play with that and find joy in that because they both do such amazing things. I am not on their level. They inspire me to have fun with it and to play with it. Okay, enough being sappy. Question 1. Music. Favorite literary musician. Can be a fictional character or a real person, but appears in a fiction book. I apparently have not read any fiction about musicians. I've read some non-fiction about musicians. I talk about a Joni Mitchell biography all the time because I loved it so much. But going through my read books, I really hadn't read any fictional musicians. I'm just not going to answer this question because every answer I could possibly give you would be so cliche. I'm sure a few longtime viewers are guessing some of what my answers might be, and yes, you're correct. Those are the books you're thinking of. I've already used them 100 times, so I'm not going to again. Question 2. Singing. Poetry recommendation. So I actually haven't read this author's poetry yet, although I have a couple on the shelf and want to soon, but I am absolutely in love with Leonard Cohen's songwriting. He does things with words in songs that make me feel all of the things so beautifully. So I'm really excited to read his poetry. Question 3, drawing. A beautiful cover. Look, it 100% has to be this copy of A Hatful of Sky. I'll try and put like a bigger photo in, but like it's got silver spinies. It's the Discworld Collector's Library edition. I got it for Christmas from my partner and I just treasure it so much. I would like one day to collect all of the Discworld Collector's Library editions. That's a big task because there's a lot of them. It's so exciting to start my collection with this and 2 of the others, but he picked appropriately because this is like my overall favorite Discworld cover, I think, of all of the books in any edition. So to have the Collector's Library, oh, so pretty. Question 4, dancing. A book with a lively plot. I talked about this in my February wrap-up, which I will link up here because I'm going to reference it multiple times this video, but I recently loved The Psychology of Time Travel by Kate Mascarenhas. This is a novel about time travel and crime and a group of absolutely phenomenal women. This book has, I feel like, the definition of a dancing, lively plot. There is so much movement of characters and themes and knowledge in so many different connections and directions and through time. Oh my goodness, the way that this book was constructed was entrancing. Question 5, modern languages. Favorite translated fiction. I don't know if I would have called this book a favorite when I read it. Revolution Sunday by Wendy Guerras really jumped out at me when I was thinking about translated fiction I'd read recently. It's been a while now. It's been almost a year since I read this book. The way it was just written, constructed, everything about it was so incredible. It's a novel about poetry and romance and writing and family history and espionage in roughly modern day Cuba. And it just did such an amazing job of communicating to me one particular experience. I didn't ever feel like it was trying to be the definitive novel about this, but it offered such a beautifully communicative window into how one person experienced this. Question 6. Something in her air and manner of walking. A book with a strong atmosphere. In January, I read The Appeal by Janice Hallett, full review up here. I loved how this was written in terms of atmosphere. It is a murder mystery that is told purely through the text messages and emails and Facebook posts and stuff of people associated with a small amateur theater troupe in a small town in England in the lead up to and aftermath of the murder. So we don't read about a detective going around talking to people and trying to piece together. We don't read about what's happening as it's happening. We read about the communication that's happening while it's happening. I don't know if this is going to be a gimmick and the first book you read like this is amazing and then after that they're sort of like, yeah, whatever. Or if this is going to be an incredible new mode of storytelling, but I'm really excited to read more books in this style now because you feel like you're part of this community group so clearly in The Appeal. I felt like I got such a good sense of character and how the social atmosphere was working, and it was almost magical to read. Also, I was sick while reading it, so maybe that contributed, but no. Read the book, it was magical. Question 7. The tone of her voice, her address, and expressions. A book with beautiful writing. I feel like I've talked about writing in all of these, but like writing makes up part of all of these things. In this case though, it really is the writing which is phenomenal. I know Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier has been discussed so many times on here and recommended so many times, but I haven't had a lot of chances to shout its love from the rooftops because I only read it recently, and I would like to do that because I was amazed by the writing in Rebecca. I don't even know how to describe it because it has this quality to it that makes it feel simultaneously, to me at least, like the most fun, pure enjoyment. You're just like reading this book because it is fun writing, and the most, wow, that is fascinating. I have so many thoughts about this book writing. Question 8. Improvement of her mind by extensive reading. Your next read. When you are seeing this, I think I will have either just started or am about to start The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. I haven't read any of her books before, and The Pull of the Stars is really the one that has most captured me out of all of her novels. So I am so excited to be buddy reading it with Gemma from Gem of Books. I think we're gonna have such a fascinating discussion about this, and I'm so ready to apparently be emotionally destroyed. I don't know. That's what I've heard about this book, and I'm kind of excited to see how it happens. Question 9. Would you be considered accomplished by Carolyn Bingley and Mr Darcy's standards? That's a big nope from me. I guess I've got extensive reading covered. Yeah, I broadened my mind. I read all sorts of stuff. I think I also have modern languages covered because I speak English, is my mother tongue. I speak French, not quite fluently, but like I work in French sometimes and it's not really a problem. A little bit of Spanish, and I can understand some Swedish. So like I speak some languages, but this is where it starts to fall apart because the whole tone of voice, her address, her expressions, I feel like that is very, very dependent on your taste. I like to think I'm pretty delightful in those regards. I like to think my partner would agree, but what one person likes, another person might not. So like, how can you be correct there? And on all of the other categories, I am Just no, you do not want to hear me sing. I have no ability to play music. My art is... But that's okay, because I'm good at other things, and that's what matters. While I might not be accomplished in their view, I feel pretty accomplished in my own view. I would love to know, please leave a comment down below, would you consider yourself accomplished by today's standards and or by Charlotte Bingley and Mr. Darcy's standards? I want to know both, because I feel like there's going to be some interesting overlap and some interesting not overlap. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.